Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, we are breaking down communication skills, and in this episode, we're delving into the world of social skills so we could better understand why it is that we are consistently cutting others off in a conversation. Plus, we're also going to understand why others are consistently cutting us off in a conversation. Let's get started off with us. Why do we interrupt others? Don't we understand that interrupting others in a conversation ruins the social flow, interrupts our ability to listen, and worse, dilutes our charisma? Intellectually, we understand a lot of this, but there's a deeper problem. The deeper problem is that all the intellect doesn't matter in terms of social skills when you have an untamed ego. That's why we are consistently interrupting others in a conversation. What is this untamed ego? In a nutshell, this is when we act as though the entire social landscape revolves around us. A great analogy is in terms of the solar system. In terms of the solar system, all the planets revolve around the sun. The sun is the star of the show. Our mistake is thinking that we are the sun anytime we are entering a social interaction. This causes us to warp the entire narrative towards our favor. Why is it that people become the sun of the solar system? Different reasons. Because all humans were different to a certain degree. But let me give you 3 big reasons for why an untamed ego is born in the social landscape. One reason could be because you are technically the sun in a certain landscape, let's say for your business. All decisions go through you. Therefore, you're a pretty important guy. Your mistake, though, is taking the narrative from your business to other parts of your social life. Just because you're the sun in context to your business doesn't necessarily mean that you're the sun in other parts of your social life. So this is one big reason. Is because we're taking a narrative from one facet of our life and spilling it over to other facets. Another reason that we become the sun of the solar system is because of loneliness. When you're lonely, you're not interacting with as much people as someone who is social as a lifestyle. And what happens is that you inadvertently become the sun of the solar system. So when you do interact with other people, the dynamics are a little bit off. You've been so comfortable with yourself that you just naturally interrupt others and you're not even aware of it. That could be another reason. And the third reason why we are being the sun is because we are speaking about a topic that is extremely important to us. And these are situations where someone who is extremely soft-spoken, pretty reserved for the most part, suddenly starts interrupting people. Is because this piece of information, this conversation material, resonates with this individual, which is causing them to alter their behavior and interrupt other people in the process. These are just 3 reasons as to why we become the sun in the solar system. Trust me, there's many other reasons, but ultimately, we interrupt others due to an untamed ego. Is interrupting people ever fine? In certain situations, we can't help it. Because in a lot of conversations, since different individuals are interacting, natural interruptions do happen. Okay? Notice what I said. Natural interruptions, which happen every now and then. That's fine. So if every now and then a natural interruption does happen, there's nothing to be worried about. This isn't a red flag. But once it's consistently happening, that's when it becomes a problem. Your untamed ego is getting the best of you. What can we do about this? How can we fix this issue? We can fix this issue by creating a word, or better yet, a phrase that can encapsulate this issue. And once we have this label, we're able to better dissect it, and we're able to better analyze when we're falling victim. And the phrase that we're going to be using is a phrase called spotlight jacking. Spotlight jacking is when the spotlight is on someone else. Let's say they're telling a story, they're explaining something, they're talking, and you feel as though you have a strong need to interrupt them. And let's say you can agree with this point that this person is making perfectly. You need to contribute to this point before it's too late. So you temporarily take the spotlight off of them and you put it on you. You contribute your point to agree with this person to further enhance their message. And in a perfect world, you give the spotlight back. All is well. But that's not what you do. What you do instead is you hold onto the spotlight. You completely forget that you took away the spotlight in the first place, and you're just talking and talking and talking. This is a case of spotlight jacking, which is something that we want to avoid. We don't want to be one of those people that is taking the spotlight and just hogging it to ourselves, because that's when our untamed ego is winning. I'm saying right now that it's okay to occasionally take the spotlight if you feel the need to. If you can avoid taking the spotlight, that's even better. But if you truly feel the need to, in terms of this conversation, go on, temporarily take it, but make sure you're not spotlight jacking. Make sure you're not holding onto the spotlight for so damn long that you forget that you took the spotlight in the first place. So once you can start priming your mind to understand the phrase regarding spotlight jacking, you're going to become much more sensitive when you are cutting others off. It's as though your whole behavior is slowly going to start warping because you have a negative connotation towards spotlight jacking. You don't want to do that. Your subconscious mind doesn't want you to feel the pain of when you become aware of you spotlight jacking. So in the future, it's going to get you to avoid doing this awful, horrendous act. So that's the first part of this video. We now understand that we interrupt others due to an untamed ego, and we can better navigate around this by creating a phrase which allows us to bring awareness to when we are interrupting others, so we can melt away this social sin. Now the next question is, why are others interrupting you so much? Think about it. If others are interrupting you every now and then, that's one thing. That's a natural interruption. But if there's different individuals who don't know each other that are interrupting you, then fam, it's your problem. There's different reasons why people are interrupting you consistently. It could be because you have a soft voice. Others aren't hearing you. It could be because you don't finish your sentences with power. People think you finished a point a long time ago while you're still talking. It could be because you are speaking, but you don't want to speak, and you're in this weird little phase where others feel as though they're doing you a favor by interrupting you. In this case, we have to realize that the problem is on us, and the fix is surprisingly rather simple. It's where if we want to speak, we speak. If we don't want to speak, we don't speak. We don't want to be in this awkward little middle ground territory where we're speaking, but we don't want to speak. Alright, Armani, that's already what I'm doing, but still, others are cutting me off. Okay, so if others are still cutting you off, and it's not consistently happening, but it's happening in situational basis, we have to evaluate who it exactly is that's cutting us off. Is it someone that we're close with? Because if it's someone that we're close with, then it may be smart to gently bring it up to this individual that they're cutting you off. They're going to feel good when you make them aware, because a lot of times people are doing it with very little awareness, which means they have no clue that they're doing it. But if this person that's cutting you off is someone that you're not necessarily close with, you don't talk to too much, it's a person that you don't have a personal relationship with, then you could bring it up. But in context to my life, I don't bring it up. I feel as though to bring awareness to this is going to require a deeper connection, and I don't get paid to change people's minds. I don't get paid to change people's behaviors. So with certain people that I'm not close with, I just learned the art of not taking it personally, let them interrupt a few times, and once the conversation is done, I go on with my life. With people that I'm close with, though, I do my best to make them aware of it, just so they at least know, so they're not the last of the party. So the second half of this conversation, we talked about why others are consistently cutting you off. And if they're consistently cutting you off, then it's a game of where the fault is on your end, where you need to speak with more power. You gotta work on that soft voice. And if they're every now and then cutting you off, if it's a person that you're not well acquainted with, I would just let them do whatever they do. But if it's a person that you are well acquainted with, it's best to bring it into their awareness. These are a few concepts regarding the social skills world that's extremely important to understand. It's best to do your best to not take it personal. Tame that ego. The more that you tame your ego, the more perspective that you have. You no longer are the sun. You do your best to not only become the planets, you also become the sun. Better yet, you become the whole solar system. Knowledge can give you power only when you can directly apply that knowledge into your life. If you want more social skills knowledge like this, be sure to check out my book, The Charisma King, which breaks down complex social principles that anyone can understand. You're going to learn the art and science of social intelligence, how to build a powerful social circle, how to manage your social anxiety, and much, much more. To check out the book, be sure to check out the link in the description box right on below. With that being said, thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.